Hello everyone and welcome to part 3 of the replay between Naruto and Inuh here on Metalopolis. This is going to be so far a pretty interesting matchup, and now we see that both side Terrans just macroing up a very large army. And I'm going to go ahead and continue this replay. We have army combinations. Taking a look at what the unit current combinations are, we have 34 Vikings for Naruto. So Naruto quickly getting a lot of Vikings and will be able to destroy a lot of the battle cruisers that are currently being trained up. But did he overinvest in Vikings? That is going to be the question. Taking a look back over at Inuh, Inuh does not have that many Marauders. We also have one Raven, just in case there's any sort of Banshee play. But the unit combination seems like there's one Thor, a couple siege tanks around the map. So both sides still even, and I'm looking at the mini-map trying to figure out what's going to be happening, and it looks as though Inuh going to try to move out with these battle cruisers and that Viking support, and now going to take down some of these missile turrets. One missile turret quickly getting taken down, another missile turret going to get quickly taken down as Vikings now move out, and those Vikings are going to go ahead and engage. One Viking just quickly getting destroyed there. So Viking versus Viking as these sides engage. There is a point defense drone, however, quickly getting torn apart. Inuh trying to gain it, and there's also the Thor trying to just launch some javelin missiles to even up this fight. But more and more Vikings exchanging on both sides. Who's going to win? The Vikings of Inuh are much stronger at 3-1 upgrades, and I believe Naruto is starting to lose those numbers as Inuh just had the sheer numbers as well. So Vikings quickly getting destroyed here, and now those Vikings can continue to push, but there are no now two more battle cruisers coming in, so those battle cruisers will be able to deal some damage and start clearing out these siege tanks. Naruto in a definite trouble now, as only these two battle cruisers can be enough to finish off the rest of this fight over here. Now trying to take down some of those missile turrets. Siege tanks are going to be forced to move, and as soon as these siege tanks move, these siege tanks and these Thors over here are going to be able to continue to encroach, and that's going to be a very bad sign production wise. Level 2 Terran plating and the Behemoth reactor now being trained up. We do not have the Yamato cannons online because of energy issues, but still more and more sides trying to macro up a larger and larger army. Naruto now sitting on 9 Vikings, but they are not only upgraded 1-1, quickly losing one of his Vikings, or one of that command center, just because he tried to lift it off. We do have some battle cruisers now finishing off the rest of these missile turrets here, as those missile turrets were not going to be completed, and now more Vikings got to move in to engage over here, as more Vikings going to exchange blows. Down goes one medevac, and now continuing to fight. Those Vikings cannot try to use that range against those battle cruisers, as there's also Viking as an escort. So Viking and battle cruisers are obviously stronger than Vikings, and these battle cruisers now upgraded 3-2, going to be getting the level 3 weapons upgrade, now finishing off the rest. And it looks at those, one of the battle cruisers shot themselves down. Not 100% sure what was happening over here, as Vikings now hunting around the map, but things are not looking good. Naruto down to an 1800 mineral army, and going to just constantly lose more and more of those Vikings to those Lancer torpedoes. Battle cruisers making their way over here, quickly getting destroyed. However, going to get off a Yamato cannon, so one Yamato cannon going to be able to destroy one of those missile turrets, and more Vikings coming in as well. We're going to get another Yamato cannon online in just a second. No, Yamato cannon perhaps for that one, as these siege tanks are going to get cleaned up. Vikings just hanging around over here to try to deal any damage towards Vikings as they're being trained up and being built. Down goes another SCV. But the center of the map is now in trouble. This whole entire army of Vikings and battle cruisers, even though there's only 3 battle cruisers, may be enough to deal a significant damage here. Battle cruisers now making their way, going to try to start Yamato. Why do you Yamato cannon missile turret that's not even completed? Down goes another one there, and now making their way towards these starports over here. More missile turrets being placed down army-wise. Give me one moment. All right. Sorry about that. Gonna go ahead and continue this, as the missile turrets now being completed. Battle cruisers do not want to engage them, as more Vikings coming in, but those Vikings quickly gonna get destroyed there. Not a good sign. And now siege tanks finally joining the mix, and these siege tanks will be able to finish off these missile turrets very easily. Not even sure why these siege tanks are in siege mode. The siege tanks actually have a higher DPS out of siege mode, I believe. I believe it's what, 25 at a 1.03. I believe that's the case. Actually, I'll have to take a look at that. I believe it's actually faster for those siege tanks to not be in siege mode, just because of the time lost. But however, these siege tanks caught in transition, gonna quickly get destroyed, and down they go. So now Vikings carefully moving out, however, not really caring about these missile turrets over here anymore, as these siege tanks now constantly on the move, and more siege tanks on the move back over here. So really, siege tanks and Vikings will be able to finish off the rest of this army here. Vikings now getting engaging Vikings battle cruisers, able to just tear apart these Marines. These Marines are only upgraded 1-1 against 6 armor plating Wow, 6 armor plating battle cruisers. So those Marines were only dealing 1 damage per pop shot. Back over here, the rest of those Vikings have been taken care of. And now Naruto has to be forced to say GG 450 mineral army versus an 8100. Siege tanks now over here cleaning off the rest of these SCVs, as those SCVs trying to do some long distance mining over there. So really a great game between, or an interesting game between Naruto and Inuh here on Metalopolis. I believe Inuh, just because he got the upgrades and did a transition into those battle cruisers that I was talking about earlier, was able to win this fight. Battle cruisers able to attack ground and land, obviously, and forced Vikings to go into an engagement that they weren't quite ready for. Naruto not having those upgrades really hurt him in the end. Inuh had 3-1 upgrades and 3-2 upgrades in many of the engagements when Naruto only had 1-1 or even 0-0. So those Vikings were not able to shoot down other Vikings, and they were not able to take down those battle cruisers, unable to use their extra 9 range against those battle cruisers as well, because in transition, while they were trying to move, other Vikings could shoot them down. Really a great game by Inuh. Inuh just constantly, excuse me, just a little distracted from so many phone calls. Inuh just constantly was able to set up expansions and move across the map and take the whole entire south side, or what I'll call the right side of the map, and do it effectively. He also threw down enough missile turrets, knowing that he did not have to worry about any sort of dropship play. As soon as there was the standoff with siege tanks in the center of the map, both players should have considered trying to go to air, either using banshees or battle cruisers, as you would not be able to easily encroach this many siege tanks from either side. When both sides have 5 or 6 siege tanks, I don't care how many units you try to run in, those siege tanks will simply destroy them. One of the things I would have liked to see, though, is siege tanks with weapons upgrade. But the siege tanks were still dealing 50 damage per attack, and I guess they didn't really need to see any reason for those upgrades. A little tongue-tied, perhaps. I'm getting a little tired. So really a great game, really a great game and an interesting game, opening up my eyes to the power of upgrades. Once again, 3-3 Vikings, battle cruisers with an armor of 6. So even those Vikings that normally deal 15 damage, that are 1-1, and times 2, we're only dealing 9 damage times 2. So that's a reduction of 12 damage per every 2 units of time. So that's a really, really heavy loss on those Vikings. And that's why these battle cruisers were able to stick around for so long. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Naruto and Inuh here on Metalopolis.